Have you ever spent hours studying, put in the effort, underlined, highlighted, reread everything carefully, but the next day, where's the content? Gone. As if your brain hit delete while you slept. Why does this happen? Have you ever wondered why it feels like you forget almost everything you study, even when you're truly dedicated? The answer lies in how your brain works. There's something called the forgetting curve. And according to science, within just 24 hours, you forget around 70% of what you've learned. In 3 days, almost nothing remains, just fragments. But if everyone faces the same problem, how do Japanese students manage to memorize over 2,000 complex characters and remember them for life? Are they more intelligent? Do they study longer hours? Do they have some secret skill? None of that. The difference isn't effort, it's method. While you underline sentences as if taking attendance, they follow strategies that fight forgetfulness itself. Want to find out how they do it? Stay with me. So, how do they do it? How do Japanese students face the forgetting curve and win? They use 5 simple science-backed techniques that turn any study session into real memory. The first is the most powerful, and almost no one uses it: active recall. Instead of reading and rereading like a zombie, they close the book, grab a blank sheet of paper, and force their brain to remember. No peeking, no notes, just the brain working. Sounds too simple, but that's exactly the secret. Every time you try to remember something on your own, you're building stronger neural connections. You're telling your brain, hey, this matters. Can you remember what you learned yesterday without looking? Try it now. You might be surprised by the result. The second technique is the famous Kumon method. But don't be fooled by the name. It's not just for kids. It's a principle that works for anyone who wants to learn for real. Instead of studying for hours until your head hurts, you study a little every single day. That's it. Small steps, repeated with consistency. It might feel slow, but remember what James Clear says: a 1% improvement each day leads to incredible results over time. Now tell me, would you rather study for 4 hours in one day and forget it all, or 15 minutes a day and remember it forever? The third technique is so powerful, it should be taught in school from day one. It's called spaced repetition. Imagine your knowledge is a plant. If you water it too much at once, it drowns. If you never water it again, it dies. But if you water it at the right time in small doses, what happens? It grows, strong, resilient. Your brain works the same way. The key is to review before you forget, not after, not in panic the night before the exam. How do you do that? Simple. Review the content 24 hours later, then after 3 days, then after a week, and then after a month. This spacing creates a reinforcement cycle that turns weak memories into lasting ones, memories you can access easily, even years later. But what if you don't have time for all this? The answer is in the fourth technique, Kaizen. Kaizen is a Japanese philosophy based on a simple principle: improve 1% a day. That's it. Sounds small? Now imagine that compounded over weeks, months, years. Here's a real challenge. Can you spare 6 minutes a day? I bet you can. With just 6 minutes, you can apply the complete method. 2 minutes for active recall, 2 minutes for spaced repetition, and 2 minutes of fully focused practice. No need to block your schedule or stay up all night, just intention and consistency. Now, what if I told you there's a final technique that's not about what you study, but about how your brain prepares to study? The fifth and final technique is almost invisible, but that's exactly why it works so well. Japanese students call it Shu, the art of focus, because it's not just about what you study, it's about how your brain gets ready to study. Ever noticed how certain smells, places, or sounds put you in a specific state of mind? The smell of popcorn makes you think of the movies. A song can take you back to a specific memory. Studying works the same way. That's why Japanese students create simple but powerful rituals before opening their books. They study in the same spot, use the same pen, light a candle, sometimes even wear a specific outfit. These subtle signals tell the brain, it's time to learn. Pay attention. Do you have these triggers, or do you study anywhere with your phone buzzing beside you, notifications flashing, and your mind all over the place? Your mental state comes before the content. Without focus, there's no memory. Without memory, there's no learning. Want to study less and remember more? Then maybe what you're missing isn't effort, but the right ritual to get into the right state. Now tell me, will you keep trying to memorize everything by brute force? Or will you start training your brain like memory masters have done for generations? In the end, learning doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to be a tiring marathon of sitting for hours, fighting sleep and frustration. Learning can be light, it can be smart, it can be efficient, but for that to happen, you have to stop insisting on what doesn't work. Highlighting, rereading, underlining are shortcuts that lead straight to forgetfulness. Your brain is an incredible machine. It just needs to be used the right way. And now you know the methods. You know what Japanese students do differently. You know what science says about memory. You know what the top 1% do every day. So here comes the final question. Will you keep forgetting everything the next day, or will you start applying these techniques today? Because some people hear this and forget. And some people hear this and level up. Which side do you want to be on?